Welcome to Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. Under overcast skies, temperatures in the mid-60s. The NLDS Best of 5 with the rally towels flying here and a sea of red. TBS brings you the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. A lot of excitement in the game, Roy Halladay.
Roy Halladay has an amazing arsenal of pitches at his disposal. Throws a couple of different fastballs, a two-seam sinking fastball, a cut fastball. Has a really good straight changeup that he likes to throw in hitters' counts. Also has a bit.
231, 8 homers, and 28 runs batted in. Came over from the Dodgers at the end of July and slaps a base hit into right field, and the Cardinals have a base runner. Tony La Russa's scheme of things, the number 2 hitter, always important to him, and it's Alan Craig, the right fielder, who hit.
He's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
Here goes the runner, pitch swung on and missed, and the throw to second base, not in time. And there is for call, Gimpy hamstring and all, getting into second base with a stolen base and the runner in scoring position.
Once again, Tony La Russa said he was going to try to push it. I think this is a perfect illustration of what the Cardinals feel they need to do against this outstanding Phillies pitching staff. Even with the Gimpy hamstring they get for a call on the move, Carlos Ruiz has to rush his throw to second base.
No, with Lance Berkman on deck for the Cardinals. Suffered during the course of the season. Taking ball 4, a 4-pitch walk by Roy Halladay, and now runners at first and second, 1 out.
Hitting duties.
All right, Craig, and Tony La Russa said we have a very dangerous bat available for the pinch hitter. Berkman, it's a fly ball to right field, way back and gone. Lance Berkman on the first pitch hits a 3-run homer, and the Cardinals stun this crowd and take the lead. Berkman homered off of Roy Halladay on September 19th, the only homer allowed by Halladay in his last 11 starts. So the Cardinals take a 3-0 lead.
That first pitch fastball inside part of the plate and elevated a little bit for Lance Berkman. He did not waste any time. You may have thought after the walk to Albert Pujols that Berkman might look at a pitch or two. I think Berkman realized that Halladay was pitching around Albert.
By strikeouts.
No doubter off the bat of Lance Berkman. This is a ballpark that will surrender some long home runs. That one off the facing of the second deck.
And the best ERA on the Cardinals starters this year.
And he was a real road warrior. 8-3 on the road with an ERA of just over 3. Has a fastball, changeup, slider, curveball. Fastball is usually a sinker down low like that one right there. Kyle Loesch said the other day in his interview with the media, I need to keep the ball on the ground.
From the Phillies.
Oh, and a high energy guy on top of it. This Phillies team at times was criticized for being a little too cool, a little too professional. Hunter Pence is anything but that. He's high octane.
And Schumacher handles the one hopper. 6 pitches for Loesch in the first inning. 3-0 Cardinals lead. Russa used 7 different players at second and slapped into right field, and another base hit for Call started the first with a single to right field, and Schumacher follows suit. Just strike 1. Ibanez hit 245 with 20 homers, 84 runs batted in. Freeze at third base, and it is scooped up nicely by Pujols, and a 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Loesch. He's retired the first 6. Gets jammed in a pop-up. Pujols in foul territory, gives it a run, and makes a basket couch to retired Polanco, out number 1 in the 3rd.
Albert Pujols making like a wide receiver going after a pass in the end zone right there, looking back over his right shoulder, looks the ball all the way into that.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Roy Halladay, and Halladay's one to right field, but Alan Craig, who was playing close to the line, came over to make the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning. 10 pitches for Loesch here in the 3rd. Very economical thus far. Department as a leadoff hitter. And an off-speed pitch, strikeout as Rollins goes down for out number 1.
It's giving him a hard time because he does it even when he does tee drills.
And chases a pitch out of the strike zone and strikes out one of his former teams. In the air, down the left field line, David Freese can't make the play. Off his glove, and Shane Victorino gets a light.
Freese trying to make a similar catch on the third base side of the field that Albert Pujols made in that last inning. Didn't get the glove out there quite.
Utley is at second. Howard, the relief runner at first base. And a ground ball through the hole in left field for a base hit. Coming around is Utley to score. Stopping at second is Howard. And a great at-bat for Shane Victorino, who gets a light, and the Phillies get a run. He threw 22 pitches last inning when the Phillies got their run, albeit unearned. And strike 3 on the outside corner. And Polanco with a few words for... And Berkman strikes out. Strikeout number 7 and 14 in a row set down by Roy Halladay as the bunt as Utley on deck for the Phillies, and a ground ball up the middle, and it'll get through into center field. Slowly hit, but it got by Schumacher and Furcal and circuit the Phillies. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Utley with Pence on deck. And a weak swing and a strikeout as Utley goes down, as Loesch had Utley fooled tremendously.
A little bit more movement perhaps on the changeup from Roy Halladay, but great location on that pitch from Kyle Loesch. Gets a real good hitter to chase a base.
Struck out his last time up, 0 for 2 on the day. And a shot up the middle and a base hit by Hunter Pence to center field. Rollins will stop at second, and the Phillies now with 2 on and 1 out, and Ryan Howard coming to the plate. And Rollins at second, and Pence with the lead at first. Way in front of that pitch was Howard. Tight, and it's Furcal shaded towards second to keep Rollins close. And just getting a piece of it, Ryan. 2 on and 1 out. The 2-2 from Loesch. Just missing outside. And the count is
sequences. We'll probably see a changeup from Kyle Loesch right here.
That's what he got, and Ryan just gets a peek.
A poor hitting catcher.
Again, 3-2, the runners go, and protecting the plate with the runners off.
Second base for an aggressive base runner.
Runners don't go, and a pitch is hit deep to right field. Way back, and gone. Ryan Howard gives the Phillies the lead.
In each successive changeup, a little higher, until ultimately Ryan Howard absolutely crushes the last one for a 3-run bomb.
And Victorino with a drive down the right field line. That hooks foul. Very close to hitting the foul pole.
You know, Dick, I don't even watch the ball anymore on plays like this. I watch the hitter because the best view of that drive down the line. And big
strikes with 1 out and bullpen activity for the Cardinals. And a ground ball, base hit to right field. That's the 4th hit of the inning off of Kyle Loesch. Octavio Dotel has begun warming up for the Cardinals. Ibanez steps to the plate.
Very little stride, if any, from Ryan Howard. Just kind of picks up that front foot, puts it right back down.
Victorino with a base hit on at first. Ibanez looking for a good pitch here, and he hits a drive deep to right, and this one is out of here. Two-run homer for Ibanez, and it's 6-3.
Absolutely, and it's really a nice adjustment that the Phillies have made to get on that Kyle Loesch changeup. That's another one that just hangs out over that outside part of the plate up in the zone. The Ryan Howard homer was a high changeup. That one, a changeup right in the middle of the strike zone. It's obvious to me the Phillies have been looking for that pitch the whole inning.
So Tony La Russa comes out and gets Kyle Loesch, and he takes strike one from Dotel.
See the numbers for Dotel this season. Good fastball, kind of a slurvy, take the proper adjustments at the plate, and they really exploded with the bats in this inning.
And Polanco strikes out for fouled at the plate. Well, in game 2, Chris Carpenter, and we'll talk.
Well, his last outing, he was so efficient and was working so easily that I think Dave Duncan, Tony La Russa feel very comfortable sending him out there on short rest.
And 18 in a row now retired by Halladay. It'll be Cliff Lee, yet another.
I chart either one. Good tailing fastball, good slider. He has been death on left-handed hitters this year, holding to a 163 batting average. Surrendered only 17 hits to lefties all year. Only 4 of those went.
Rollins at second, Utley at first, and here is the 4th pitcher of the game for the Cardinals, 27-year-old Mitchell Boggs.
Boggs, a hard thrower, average fastball, sits in the mid-90s, throws a hard.
Infield is playing in, and a swinging bunt, and Boggs goes to home, and Molina gets the force at home. Right field, there to make the catch. Rollins will tag up and score, and the runners will remain at first and second, and the Phillies. And he lines a base hit to right field. Here comes Utley. Here comes the front of the plate. Not in time. The run scores, and the Phillies now lead 8-2. 2 down, 2 on, and the 1-2 pitch grounded. Base hit past Schumacher into right field. And here comes the throw, not in time. Scoring is Hunter Pence. Victorino goes to third, and the Phillies now lead it 9-3. And a line drive, left field, and caught by Mayberry. Another 1-2-3 inning. That's 21 in a row. Retired by Halladay. Again, Boggs' 3-2 pitch to Halladay, who strikes, and they're in position. Now all coming after 2 are out for the Phillies. And there's a base hit up the middle by Hunter Pence. 2 runs will score, and the Phillies now extend their lead to 11-3. That Tampa Bay, Texas game, and here's 41-year-old Arthur Rhodes. He is the 5th pitcher of the night for the Cardinals.
Ryan Howard 2 for 8 lifetime against the Cardinal lefty. However,
came up and there's a ground ball. Schumacher on the outfield grass will make the play to retire the side. And a shot to center field. Albert Pujols with his first hit of the game, and the first hit for the Cardinals since the 2nd inning. Pujols on base twice, and wouldn't you know it, his first mate beat the Phillies in the 11th inning back on September 16th. Ground ball, base hit to right field, and Craig will come around and score. Stopping at second is the pinch runner Laird. So Adron Chambers delivers an RBI base at Citizens Bank Park history. Ground ball and a base hit through the hole in left field. Stopping at third will be Laird. Bases are loaded. 1 for 3. Fly ball hit to left field. Mayberry coming over. Can't get it. Off his glove into the corner. 2 runs are going to score. And Schumacher is on at second with a double. And it is now an 11-6 game.
That ball not only slicing away from John Mayberry Jr., but into the wind, which they exaggerate that slice. He's able to just get the tip of his glove on it.
So here is Matt Holliday. And Craig told the story earlier. Strike 3 and the game is over as Holliday strikes out. And Ryan Madson finally retires the Cardinals, who score 3 runs, and Roy Halladay, brilliant after a rocky early start, retires his last 21 batters, and the Phillies explode for 10 runs in the 6th. And the Cardinals led until the 6th when the home runs by Howard and Ibanez. 3-run drive by Howard, 2-run homer by Ibanez. And the explosion started as the Phillies taking game 1, 11-6 and 6. The Phillies take a 1-0 lead in the best-of-5 series. Postseason continues. Coming up on TBS, assumption of game 1 between the Tigers and the Yankees, and you can see it right here on TBS. So for Bob Brenly and Craig Sager, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Philadelphia. And right now, let's go to Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studio. On Tuesday.
Well, Dick, we won't say this too loud, but Jimmy Rollins grew up in the Bay Area out in San Francisco, and he's a 49ers fan.
Ooh, so we know one happy person in Philadelphia today, and Rafael Furcal on the first pitch, deep to right field, and this ball is going to be off the wall, and it rolls away, and going to third is Furcal, and a first pitch triple for Rafael Furcal, starting the Cardinals off. Remember, last night, Berkman hit a 3-run homer in the first inning to give the Cardinals.
Well, at least the first hitter of the game attacks early in the count against Cliff Lee. Rafael Furcal with a drive to straightaway right field. A lot of different surfaces out there on that out-of-town scoreboard. Depending on where the ball hits, it'll ricochet in different directions. That time it
then went to Texas, and now trying to win a ring with the Phils as he strikes out Craig for out number 1. Pinch runner in the 9th inning last night, and he swings at the first pitch and pops it up, and Chase Utley on the outfield grass makes the catch for the second out. So the Cardinals can't take advantage at least toward, and the Cardinals able to get him in with less than 2 out. And here's a shot backhanded by Polanco, and the throw to first, and the Phillies, after giving up the triple to start the game, retire. The Cardinals in order. They leave a runner at third. Cardinals fail to score. Phillies coming up in the first. 11-9 on the year, and pitch the clinching game for the Cardinals against the Braves.
doing a little housekeeping out there. Looked like there was a moth or something on the mound, and Chris was trying to be as gentle as he could. Knocking for power, hitting for average, getting on base, doing the things he always does.
Shots to right field. This will be off the wall. Off the top of the wall. Rollins going into second, slides in with a double. What a start.
Ball, a good slider, an occasional straight changeup.
And ball 4, and Utley. And the pitch inside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Ryan Howard. Bases are loaded. And a shot off of the leg of Carpenter into center field. A base hit. 2 runs will score. And the Phillies take a quick 2-0 lead. Ryan Howard. Now with 6 runs batted in the series. Veteran. And a line drive, base hit left field for Ibanez going the other way. Hunter Pence will score the 3rd run of the inning. Howard goes to second. A way of getting out of this inning and keep it at 3 runs. Balls in a strike, and it's a shortstop for Paul. Goes to Terrio, and the throw to first, and the Cardinals get the double play to get them out of the inning. Not before the Phillies do damage. Get 3 second inning against Cliff Lee, who's now staked to a 3-run lead. Freese was 0 for 3 last night, and lines one to right field. It's going to be a hit and go all the way to the wall. Freese on his way to second base with a stand-up double to start the second inning.
An injury-plagued season for David Freese, but when he's been in the lineup for the Cardinals, he's provided some sock in the middle of the lineup, this time going the opposite way against Cliff Lee. Slicing double down.
On the inside corner, strike 3, and
to shake off Carlos Ruiz.
And there's a pitch right at the knees, and strike 3. And a broken bat handled by Lee, who throws out Jay. So the Cardinals had extra base. Fly ball hit deep to right center field, and this ball is going to be off the wall, and it's a fair ball, extra bases, and a double for Rollins. That too came close to getting out. Would be next. And a base hit to right field will score Rollins. With the 4th run of the game for the Phillies, Hunter Pence with an RBI single, and Utley goes to Dave Duncan, the pitching coach. And Jerry Meals will go to the mound to break it up. Home plate umpire.
Yeah, this meeting was more about Tony La Russa talking it over with Jerry Meals than it was anything he had to say to Chris Carpenter. Not sure if it was a specific pitch or pitches in this ball game that is up plate down in the zone. He can't even do that tonight.
And a fly ball to left field. Lance Berkman moving over and will make the catch on the warning track to end the inning, but the Phillies get another run. And after 2 here at Citizens Bank Park, that'll bring up Albert Pujols, who popped up to second his first time up.
Now, this is what we were talking about with Matt Holliday in the lineup and without him in the lineup. Numbers tell the story. Team batting average 40 points higher, runs per game, over a run more per game with Holliday in there than without him.
Now he's trying to get on base. Strikes out to end the inning. Cardinals lead 1 in the middle of the 3rd.
Plays 167 double plays turned defensively. That led the major leagues.
And Polanco strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Carpenter. So Carpenter's settling down impressively here in the 3rd. But
he establishes that pitch inside. He'll go away for the rest of the ball game.
And he went away on this pitch, ball 4. And here's the 3-2. And a ground ball up the middle and off the glove of Rollins. And the big turn made by Berkman, but he gets back. And now the Cardinals have runners at first and second. And 1 out, and there's a base hit. Fair ball down the right field line. Berkman will come around and score, and a double for Ryan Terrio, and the Cardinals are back in the game. Double.
Well, as awkward as it looks sometimes, this is Ryan Terrio at his best, hitting the ball to the field, this time just inside the first baseline. Well, possibly any other Cardinal other than Yadier Molina running at first base. The Cardinals may have cashed in 2 right at Polanco at third base. The Cardinals should be able to score another one.
And a base hit to right field by John Jay will get Molina home. And here comes the throw going to second, and the throw is not in time by Ruiz. And good alert base running by John Jay on the plate of the plate. And Terrio is on at third.
Jay hit nearly 290 against lefties during the regular season. Hangs in there well against Cliff Lee. Hard ground ball into right field. Hunter Pence charged that ball extremely hard, airmails it all the way.
20 runs batted in and was 3 for 10 as a pinch hitter.
And also hit 300 against Cliff Lee in his career. I asked Tony why Punto was.
Go at third. Jay at second, and a fastball gets Punto as he goes down.
Hitter from the right side of the plate. Tony wanted him in the lineup. We documented Ryan Terrio's numbers against Cliff Lee at the top of the show.
And a line drive to left field. It's a base hit. One run comes in. Here comes the throw to the plate. Jay hanging in and holding onto the ball is Ruiz for the tag. And out at home is Jay. One run comes in on that hit, and it's 4-3 in favor of the Phillies. And going on short rest, and Tony La Russa had an idea and was ready with Salas in case he couldn't go long in this game. With Cardinals manager Tony La Russa, it's time to talk. Brought to you by Charles Schwab. Tony, the Cardinals back in the game, and I guess with Chris, not quite what you added. Any more to add on his performance?
Well, what I would add, which will get you in trouble, and I'm going to do it anyway, is if we're pitching at two different strike zones. And against a good club or any club, that's an advantage you want to give up.
Well, that's very honest on your part, Tony. I can't say I disagree with it from what we've seen up here on our replays as well. Now you've got Fernando Salas in the ballgame. What do you expect from him?
There aren't that many jobs around, and you have to be pretty good to be, even with the talent that the Phillies have. And a called third strike, Pujols, who doesn't really argue much, has a few work. Strike three. Utley was on his way to first. That pitch was up in the strike zone, and Utley thought it was ball four.
Chase Utley with a pretty good eye for the zone. Man, oh man.
Up and out.
Yeah.
It goes after the high pitch and picks out, so second. And a line drive, left field, and it's going to be into the corner. Extra bases for Terrio, and he'll go in standing with his second double of the game.
Terrio gets a cutter that stayed over that inside part of the...
Jay can get on, will bat for Salas. And there's a ball hit to the opposite field, base hit. Terrio rounding third. Here comes the play to the plate. It's high, safe at home, and the score is tied as Terrio goes to second. John Jay for the second time in the game, following on the heels of 4-4.
John Jay, I mentioned it in his last at bat, hangs in really tough against left-handed pitchers, slashes one through that left side of the infield, and once again, Cardinals are going to challenge all of every opportunity they get. This time the throw is high. By the time Ruiz can go up for the throw and get back down on the plate, Terrio's in safely. Jay moves into scoring position once again with some heads up.
Stopped the 5-run sixth by striking out the two batters he faced, Ibanez and Dotel. Striking out is Ibanez for the second out. For fourth for the most victories in the National League. Fly ball, center field. Victorino going way back, and he won't handle it. It's off his glove. Craig rounding second, taking a while to get the ball back in the infield, and Alan Craig winds up at third. Victorino got to the ball, but it got off of Citizens Bank Park.
We haven't seen much of it in this series, but this is the we've heard about from Alan Craig. A very easy swing that generated a drive to the deepest part of the ballpark. It's 409 out there at the ninth. Cliff Lee is used to seeing Shane Victorino make that.
And a base hit to left field by Pujols, and Ibanez retrieves, and the Cardinals have taken the lead 5-4. Albert Pujols delivering a first pitch single over Jimmy Rollins' head here at the ballpark.
You can see Carlos Ruiz set up on the inside corner, reaching out over the outside corner to receive that pitch, but Albert Pujols does not let it get to him.
3 lead, lost 24-23.
And there's a looper into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit, and Pujols will go to third base. Here comes the throw, and Pujols slides in at third. So the double by, the triple I should say, by Craig. And Charlie Manuel coming to the mound. Brad Lidge had come in and is in the bullpen.
For Lance Berkman, that's a look to left, hit it to right, swing. Wasn't quite sure where that ball went initially. Schizophrenic day for Cliff Lee. Got off to a good start in the ball game here today, dodging around some runners in scoring position in the first couple innings, and then the wheels.
And chasing the pitch way out of the strike zone. Ruiz goes down. Falls at 2 strikes. Started to miss a bit here at Philadelphia. Here goes Rollins, and they have him picked off, and the throw to second in time. So Jimmy Rollins taking off, and Chepsinski getting it over, giving in the 5th run, giving the Cardinals the lead.
Jimmy Rollins trying to take off on first, movement by Chepsinski, gets caught. Albert Pujols stepped way inside the line to clear his throw to second.
Craig on the pitch, and Mitchell Boggs, who worked last night and in an inning and 2/3 gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, now on for. And broken bat roller to short, over to second for 1, no throw to first base as Utley takes out Ryan Theriot at second base. Called in to face Ryan Howard with 1 out first. And Howard strikes out on 3 pitches for the 2nd out. So Arthur Rhodes gets his man, and there are 2 down with Victorino coming up.
2 fastballs to start the sequence right down the heart of the plate. Ryan Howard takes one, he fouls off the second one, and then the big slider from Arthur Rhodes gets the swing and a miss.
So Mott facing Victorino. Cardinals are playing defensively against Victorino. By the way, he's the 7th pitcher, and there's a fly ball to John Jay in center field. He's there to make the catch. And a brilliant performance by the Cardinal bullpen. Tonight, they have retired the Phillies in the 9th inning last night. Broken bat and threw into left field, and the bat went past third base. Shots
Ryan Madsen before this broken bat single finds its way through the left side of the infield. Kind of a stutter step that time by Descalso, a little bit of a lace, or rather Polanco.
Here in the bottom of the 9th inning, before the largest crowd ever to see a game here at Citizens Bank Park, and Ibanez strikes out on 3 pitches for out number 1 away, bottom of the 9th inning, and a soft fly ball to right field. Chambers is there to make the catch, and the Phillies down to their last out.
Field. I don't know if Mott has that kind of control.
And a ground ball hit right at Theriot, and he makes the play, and the Cardinals rally against Cliff Lee after trailing 4-0, and have evened this best-of-5 series 5-4. This is what the Cardinals have been, a never-say-die team all year. 1 point, 10.5 behind the Braves in the wild card, 8.5 in September, and coming back and winning a critical game. And in a game in which Chris Carpenter not a factor going on short rest.
Really hard to believe with the 2 pitchers starting this ball game that it ended up the way it did. Dick, I go all the way back to when we did our interview with Tony La Russa between innings. He complained about the home plate umpiring. He has a knack for rallying his team. It's us against the world. From that point forward, the Cardinals were really good tonight.
Cardinals have never packed it in. Philadelphia Eagles lost a 2-3 lead. This was the final out as Pujols looks to the sky. And so the Eagles lose to the 49ers by day, and the Cardinals beat the Phillies by night. And Tony La Russa's reaction. It's a 1-1 series as it resumes Tuesday night in St. Louis, and let's go down to Craig Sager.
One with Albert Pujols, who drove in the winning run in the 7th inning. But before you came over here, you had to go over and congratulate Tony La Russa. You think he had a lot to do with this, with using 7 relief pitchers and holding on and coming from behind?
Listen, this is a playoff. Whatever it takes, you know, to get out of the inning. And obviously, Tony's good in that. Missing the pitcher with the hitters, and you know, it worked out at this time for us. So I mean, to come back after Carp, you know, in the first inning got in a little bit of trouble, but that's what's so good. You know, anybody else in the game, that would have been the game over right there. And Carp, you know, just concentrate, even though he was in short rest today, and just give 4 innings out there, and we were able to score some run later on and come up with a win.
The Cardinals 5 and the Phillies 4. This best of 5 series all tied, 1 apiece, heading to St. Louis Tuesday. And right now, we're going to send you to Matt Weiner in our Atlanta studio for Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan. Want to remind you to remember to drink responsibly. So for Bob Brentley and Craig Sager, Dick Stockton saying so long from Philadelphia. For this, you taping this? Now? Are they going to do this again when we...
Hey Jeff, can you hear Dick?
And welcome everyone to Busch Stadium in St. Louis for Game 3 of the National League Division Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. And tonight, one team will take a 2-1 lead in this series.
You know, Dick, there's an old adage of baseball, your momentum is the next day's starting pitcher. And if that's indeed true, both managers have to feel good about this matchup. Last 2 years, a 15-8 record with an ERA of 2.17. You see his numbers on the regular season this year. He'll feature a heavy sinking
facing Hunter Pence with 2 down, nobody on. And he hits a shot, and Percall makes the stab. 1 pitch, a line drive out. And a quick one.
Hamels. He'll feature a couple of different fastballs, a 2-seamer, a cutter that he relies heavily upon. Also throws a curveball.
They won 12 more than the Cardinals in the regular season. Reaching out and lifting it to center field. Victorino not going to get it. It's going to go off the wall in the gap. And Pujols will settle into second with a 2-out double. So
this is what I think Albert Pujols is going to have to do in this series. We saw him do it in Philadelphia. Now he does it here. His bat in St. Louis. Go to the opposite.
Lance Berkman at first. David Freed, the batter. They go the runners. The pitch is taken for a strike and safe at third. The Cardinals execute a double steal and put 2 in scoring position.
Injury to Albert Pujols, and I think teams just assume he's not going to run. But Tony La Russa told us before Game 1 of this series that he will run. That time he baited Cole Hamels. 1 quick look to second base, the delivery to home, and Cardinals successfully pull off a double.
In Game 2 Sunday. Howard strikes out. 1 gone here in the second. Again, the 0-2 pitch. And Mayberry strikes out. Another 1-2-3 inning. And this time, 2 strikeouts.
67 part.
And celebrate will only mean something if the Cardinals wind up on top. Fly ball deep to left field. Looking up. And it's foul. But it hooked foul at the last minute.
Thought maybe the cheers from those fans down the third baseline might blow that ball fair. Hooked just to the wrong side of the foul pole if you're a Cardinal.
What Matt Holliday did, so they've been hampered without his services. There's a ground ball through the hole in the right field for a base hit.
Well, this is Ryan Terrio's natural swing. Roll that ball through the right side of the field. That's what he's done.
9 campaign, and has been impressive in his return since then. There's strike 3 as Ryan Howard goes down looking, second time.
And we had our doubts about Roy Halladay in Game 1.
Swinging bunt. Phillies hope it goes foul. It's not going to. And Terrio is on at first with an infield hit, his second hit of the game with 2 out.
Corner infielders, catchers, and pitchers are made aware of what the ball is going to do as it rolls down that foul line. You saw it hit the edge of the grass. That ball should have gone. But as it gets further down the line, it works its way further and further fair. That's on the first base line, the third base line to see what they're going to do.
There goes the runner, the pitch taken for a ball, the throw to second, not in time, and Terrio has a stolen base. Third stolen.
Theriot just takes off on first movement right there. Had Cole Hamels been picking at first base, he would have been caught in a run.
From Garcia, the payoff pitch, backhanded by Furcal. Through in time. Hard hit ball by Ruiz, but Rafael Furcal. 1-2-3 inning for the fourth time in 5 innings for Jaime Garcia. No score. And there'll be a base hit right center field, and that too is going to go to the wall. Nearly a carbon copy from his double from the first inning. And Pujols goes into second with a stand-up double, his second of the game.
Anything inside to hit. Look where Ruiz sets up on that outside corner. Pujols just stays right on it, splits that gap in right center field for a 2-out double. But Albert's so spread out.
In foul territory, handled by Molina. This drive deep to left field, and making the catch is Alan Craig, who is playing in and
glad that Cole Hamels didn't hit this ball back in the early part of the ball game. No sun to deal with here. That ball was smoked off the bat of Cole Hamels. Good jump by Alan Craig, makes a nice running over the shoulder catch.
The one gone, sure, on a move in which Ryan Howard is going to be the batter you want to pitch to.
Well, that's the thing about the game of
reaches out, and the roller to Pujols gets there in time, and that'll do it. So they walk pitch to Howard, who's at 3. The Phillies leave 2.
Very accustomed to hitting 1 or 2 in the batting order, but Tony La Russa has him down there in the 7th spot.
He said he could, as a
speaking of pesky.
And we don't mean Johnny. Just looking to get away. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Huh? Payoff pitch to Theriot. And a ground ball base hit. Through the hole into left, and Ryan Theriot 3 for 3.
Means the 0-0 score at this point.
And there's a line drive center field and a base hit for Victorino. So Garcia fell behind. Checking Victorino at second, and there's a line drive to right field. Berkman coming on in, makes the catch. And the throw to second, safe, and it was close there. They
turned it into a pretty routine fly ball, but then the lob throw back to the infield. You saw right there Victorino a little overly.
With bullpen activity, Octavio Dotel, who was one of those effective relievers in game.
Molina's first full year in the major leagues in 05. Molina was struggling at the plate. Tony said, I don't care. He's going to catch if he doesn't get a hit all season. Molina's like having another coach on the field.
He is announced as the pinch hitter, 0 for 1. Pitch number 92 forthcoming. And a drive hit deep to left field. Craig is going back, looking up. This one is gone. A home run by Ben Francisco. A pinch hit 3-run homer breaks the tie. 3-0 the feed. What a timely drive here.
Boy, a mistake pitch, belt high, up and out over the plate to Francisco. Now a hard foul ball off the bat of Jimmy Rollins.
In the air to center field, John Jay going back, and this is over his head. Rollins will round second and hold there for a double.
And Ben Francisco. Got to give him something to cheer about.
And there's a looper into short right field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. Craig will stop at second, and Albert Pujols, after 2 screaming doubles.
Why does it seem like good hitters get more than their fair share of these? A little jam shot floater that drops just beyond the reach of Chase Utley at second.
Start this game has been safe. And there's a shot, center field, base hit for Freese. Craig will score, and Berkman will go to second.
Vance Worley, a notorious strike thrower, so David Freese goes up there looking to swing at the first pitch. It happens to be a breaking ball, but he's right on it anyway into center field to drive home the first run of the game for the Cardinals.
Here's a looper to right field, coming on in and taking it on a hop is Pence. And Ryan Theriot delivers again. He was on the disabled list until July the 22nd, and Matt Holliday will be facing him.
5 previous at-bats this
Cardinals don't have in their lineup.
But they're a much better team when he's in the lineup, no question about it. Gives them some length.
And a ground ball, base hit to left field for Holliday. So the pinch hitter delivers, and going to Theriot. And the Cardinals have the tying run. Doobie comes out to the mound.
A Brad Lidge slider that ended up out over the plate and down. Matt Holliday didn't have to worry about being.
And for Call, it's a line drive to left field, and it's going to be a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third base, and Theriot gets back as Mayberry came over. Well placed, and a terrific at-bat for Rafael Furcal, and the Cardinals have the base with the bases loaded. Theriot at third, Chambers the pinch runner at second, Brad Lidge, and now Matson. And Craig short hopped to Utley, the throw to first, double play, and the Phillies get out of the inning. And it was Utley on the short hop starting the double play, and Matson comes in to retire. Center field, late start for Schumacher, comes on, and the shortstop for Call makes the catch. That was weird. Schumacher started back, and for
nice defensive plays, you mentioned Schumacher broke back. Rafael Furcal, the only Cardinal that had a chance to make a play here. That's a fine over-the-shoulder running catch. Speaking of good defense, Chase Utley takes this one-hop shot off the bat of Alan Craig, decides to take it himself at second base and not risk the shovel toss onto Jimmy Rollins. And we mentioned it earlier in the game, the Cardinals led the world in grounding into double plays this year.
Into center field, Schumacher coming on in and does not make the play. It is trapped. And Schumacher is complaining to Jerry Meals, the umpire in right field, that he. Let's take a look.
Schumacher with another late start, but he catches up quickly. Yeah, he got his glove underneath that ball, made the catch because he immediately came up throwing to first, looking for a double play. If there was any doubt in his mind, he would have thrown to second base where they possibly had a force play.
That would have been his instinct without question, Bob. He wanted to say, well, I made the catch if he knew he could get a force, and they ruled that he made the catch. Great job. Jason Mott, the runner goes, and Matson strikes out, and that'll do it. And we'll go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Albert Pujols, starter territory for him. And a line drive down the left field line. Base hit. Off the wall, Pujols on his way to second as Mayberry gets the ball in, and Pujols with his 4th hit of the game, 3rd double, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Now, they're not overly concerned with Albert Pujols at third.
And there's a drive to center field, big play on a hot base hit. Pujols will score. Molina is on at first with an RBI single, and it's 3-2 now in favor of the Phillies.
In your outfield. Just enough slice on that.
And a one-hopper to Utley on the outfield grass. Steadies and makes the play to first to retire Theriot. And that'll do it as the Phillies hold on and beat the Cardinals 3-2.
Earlier today, Texas became the first team to advance to the championship series round thanks to the bat of Adrian Beltre. 3 home runs, 6th player in postseason history to hit 3 out in a single game. And thanks to 4 solo homers, the Rangers win it 4-3 to eliminate the Tampa Bay Rays, and for the 2nd straight year, they are moving on to the American League Championship Series. Somewhere there is Adrian Beltre. There he is, the hero of Game 4, and the Rangers are
3-2 the final. You see it there on your screen. Ben Francisco with a pinch hit 3-run homer. That's the swing that gets the Phillies the Game 3 victory. The media asked Tony La Russa if that was the right move to keep Garcia in the game.
didn't work, so it's bad managing. I'm watching him pitch and was really pleased, and I believe they have trouble snaring the ball on him. And even though the leadoff double, I saw what he did to Polanco, and Mayberry. He just. So I thought he was the guy to continue pitching, and I knew the matchups were in our favor. Francisco had not had a lot of success against him, but it didn't work.
Of survival for the St. Louis Cardinals, and they will need a win to survive another day. They face elimination against the Phillies. The pace setters this year in the National League looking to move on to the championship series. It's game 4 of the National League Division Series on TBS between the Phillies and the Cardinals. And welcome everyone on a splendid late afternoon here in St. Louis. 81 degrees, not much of a wind, clear skies. Once again, we've had 2 great days for baseball, and right now was very impressive down the stretch for the Cardinals after coming over in a July trade.
As we mentioned in the open of the show, a really good fastball in the mid-90s with some late movement. He has a slider and a straight changeup that he'll use to complement that fastball. You see his numbers on the season, making his first postseason start here in front of the home crowd at Busch Stadium.
First pitch, fly ball center field. John Jay battling the sun, going back, and he's not going to get it, and it will bounce over the fence for a ground rule double. John Jay completely had no idea what that ball.
Going to hit it with power as he does here, driving it over the head of John Jay, who I don't believe ever saw that ball off the bat. Talked about the hour.
Jackson's 1-1 pitch and a fair ball down the right field line. Rollins will score easily, bounces off the barrier, and Utley rounding second. He's going to try to go to third. Here comes Berkman's throw. It's cut off, and a triple for Chase Utley, and the Phillies quickly take a 1-0 lead. Triple.
Just inside that first base.
With Ryan Howard on deck, and the first pitch, and there's a line drive, base hit to center field, and that will get Utley in for a 2-0 Philly lead. And this crowd is stunned. Rollins with a first pitch.
Keep Pence over there at first.
He takes off, and strike 3, and the throw to second base. Out, a strikeout, throw out, double play. And a big boost for the Cardinals and Edwin Jackson as they get Ryan Howard. Pence is nailed, and there are 2 down, and the bases are clear.
Kind of a late start by Hunter Pence. The breaking ball on the outside corner. A called strike on Ryan Howard, and the rocket-like arm of Yadier Molina to Rafael Furcal to complete the strike him out, throw him out double play in the estimation of second base umpire Chad pitch Arsenal.
Last pitched here in June, as you look at his pitching numbers. Went on the DL after going just 2 innings because of a back injury. Allowed. And a line drive, base hit over Polanco's glove, and a 1-out single by Schumacher.
Jumping on that first delivery, he sees from Roy Oswalt a fastball on the outside part of the plate. You can see Polanco playing in to protect against the bunt. Just didn't have enough time to reach full height on his jump there.
And a shot to right center field, and it's going to bounce off the wall. Schumacher will be waved in. Rounding second, coming to third. They have trouble getting the ball in, and the run will score, and Berkman goes to third, and it's 2-1 as the Phillies had problems getting the ball in from right center field.
Ball was smoked into the gap in right center by Lance Berkman. A middle of the plate fastball. Shane Victorino had all kinds of problems. Thought it was going to work to his advantage when the ball hit the wall and ricocheted back to him, but his right foot slid out from underneath as he tried to turn it.
Ibanez goes.
But as I said before, the key is going to be his ability to command his secondary pitches.
And Ruiz goes down, overmatched on that at-bat. 3 straight hits, 2 extra base hits to start the game. Has settled back and has retired the last 5, striking out 3 of them, and will be facing his opposite number. And a base hit, stroke to right field. Schumacher 2 for 2. is aboard with 2 away.
For a 2-out base hit. Yeah, not only skip shoot.
And Howard strikes out and going to first for the putout.
Difference in his improvement over the last 24 hours has been the extensive treatment. Once the MRI on Monday showed no structural damage to that inflamed tendon, he's been receiving treatment around the clock. He had an injection day before the game to numb the pain, another one today to stop the inflammation. He says he's ready to go.
Like home run derby. Here is Holiday, and Holiday is hit by the pitch and will trot down to first base. It's his the first time and then walk Berkman. Hit Holiday, and there's a drive hit to right center field, and Pence is going back and makes the catch. Tagging up and going to third is Berkman. Going back to first is Holiday, and Pence making batter. And there's a shot, base hit down the left field line into the corner. Berkman will score the tying run, and they're going to wave in Holiday, and he will play at the plate, slides in safely, and the Cardinals lead 3-2. David Freese with a 2-run double.
David Freese throughout the regular season was a real good off-speed hitter when the pitch was in the strike zone. That time a straight changeup. You could see the front foot came down, but his hand stayed back. Ripped that ball down into the left field corner. Very aggressive send by Jose Oquendo, the Cardinals' third base coach. We talked all about Matt Holliday and what he brings offensively to this Cardinals team. He's also a very good base runner. Comes all the way around from first base to score on a ball in the left field corner. At a time, just sitting down with their pitching staff, talking about the opposing lineup.
Here's Pujols, will handle it. Makes the play on assistant to retire Rollins. Been a rarity as of late. And everything is all right.
Oh, he grabbed the back of that left hamstring. Not sure if that's in condition or something that just now popped up.
And there's a squirrel that ran right in front of home plate. We saw the squirrel yesterday, and now he's in the stands. So obviously with tickets for each of the first 2 games here in St. Louis. And Oswald now, tough distraction this was. Here it is.
Well, fortunately for the squirrel, he's low to the ground, Dick. Back in 2001 in spring training in Tucson, Arizona, Randy Johnson had a similar situation with a dove flying in front of home plate. The dove, however, was not as fortunate as the squirrel.
And the dove was a lot more peaceful. That may be the least of the oddities we've seen. And there goes Utley on the 3-2 pitch, grounded to for call. And Utley is going to go to third, safe at first, and out at third. Pujols wisely came off the bag because he wanted to get the lead runner, Utley, going to third base, and he did. He gave up first base gladly to get Chase Utley at third for the first out.
And if he stays on the bag to accept the throw and get the out at first base, Utley probably does make it to third base. But boy, Albert, out of his peripheral vision, saw Utley turn the corner at second, try to go to third base. Wisely stepped into the middle of the infield to take that throw from Furcal and guns out Chase Utley at third base. Heads up defensive play by Albert Pujols. Very aggressive base running play by Chase Utley. Maybe a little misplaced aggression that time.
The 3-2 pitch in the air to center field. John Jay is there and makes the catch for the second out as Pence goes back to first. So maybe the home cooking has been good coming back. Here is the second baseman, Terrio, who makes the short flip to Pujols. So the leadoff walk does not hurt Edwin Jackson. And in the middle of the 6th inning, the Cardinals maintain their 3-2 lead. Seen any foul territory bigger than in Oakland. Here's a shot up the middle and a base hit by Matt Holliday. So Holiday has his second hit of the series at a pinch hit single. Roy Oswalt with the 1-0 pitch in the air to center field. Victorino going way back as Victorino. It's gone. To 2.
Well, that fourth inning two-run double came on.
Run double in the fourth, two-run blast here in the sixth. The Cardinals lead 5-2. Going left-hander delivers a strike to Raul Ibanez here in the seventh inning, and in the switch, we will see the and Ibanez goes down.
Top Busch Stadium, drive to deep straightaway center by David Freese. You mentioned it, Dick. He has been a big-time hitting prospect for this organization. He's had some health issues. When he's been healthy and playing regularly, he's got tremendous power as he proves on this drive to straightaway center field.
And the first home run for the Cardinals by Utley and a single by Pence before anyone was retired. Left side, and here's Descalso. Good glove man. Cuts in front of Furcal and makes the play to retire. Ross Claude on deck. Fly ball, right center field. John Jay is over, and Jay makes a catch. Lance Berkman cuts right in front of him.
Righties at 164.
Load.
Way through the middle without any damage.
The 1-2. And the ball getting away from Molina. Here comes the runner home, and he scores. Martinez gets the run and going to second base. He gets Howard. That ends the eighth. Phillies get a run, but the Cardinals still lead 5-3. Foul ball down the left field line. Let's go back to the 2005 NLCS. Cardinals against the Astros, top of the ninth inning, against Brad Lidge, the Astros closer. And here's Albert Pujols with a three-run homer with 2 outs. The ball landing on the train track at Minute Maid. Cardinals went on to win the game 5-4. And their other left-hander, Antonio Bastardo, is throwing there. There's a ground hit to right center field. Pence going over and makes the catch. Three-two pitch. Ground ball. Pujols says, I'll take it. And he does. One gone in the ninth. 2 down. The looper into right center field, coming on and making the catch is John Jay, and the Cardinals have won it and have forced a deciding game Friday in Philadelphia. Cardinals win it 5-3. Jason Mott retired in order. And Tony La Russa gets a birthday present a day late. 67 yesterday. He'll celebrate tonight as the Cardinals force a deciding game. And Bob, this after the... Let's send it down to Craig Sager.
Well, the story of the night when it began was, will Matt Holliday be in the lineup? The Cardinals run a game more when he is. He was in there tonight. David Freese, you drove him in twice, a double and a home run. What much difference did that make having Matt in there?
No, when Matt Holliday's in our lineup, it's a world of difference. You know, he's a beast. He's one of our big guys, and when he's healthy, you know, he's rolling, and he's a huge part of our success.
You drove the first 2 runs in with a changeup with 2 men on, but then in the 6th, you hit a towering home run that almost hit the arch. What were you looking for? How'd you hit it so far?
You know, I don't really look for too much. I just try and stay simple and look for something out over, and you know, I put a good swing on it, and it left.
Congratulations.
Of 5 National League Division Series by beating the Phillies by a score of 5-3, 2-2, and the classic pitching matchup coming your way on Saturday. So for Bob Brenly and Craig Sager, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from St. Louis, and we will send you to Atlanta right after this. TBS is your exclusive home for the entire 2011 Division Series and the National League Championship Series.
And Dan, Chris Carpenter versus Roy Halladay. This is the match of 2 former Blue Jay farmhands. At one time in 1996-97, you could flip a coin that who was the bigger prospect, Roy Halladay, Chris Carpenter. Both were can't-miss first-round draft picks by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Runner in. But let's go back to the play real quick. For Call has a choice. Go get the ball or back up. He elects to back up because he's got strong enough arm. He doesn't even look at Utley. Albert, look at the distance he cut off. It's almost like a pickoff from a guy before. And that's the same distance that Utley is out by. He could have waited, got the out, and he would have never got him at third base.
Point.
But the beauty of this whole thing is the freedom and the liberty of Albert Pujols. I'm sorry, but Mark said, hey, making that play.
Mark DeRosa is in a full stretch like this.
Not that you couldn't make it, but it's the freedom to play within your imagination that Albert has. Because if you mess that play up, you may as well just fly on back home to Jersey.
Tony's coming out on the field right there.
Oh, yeah.
It was a hit that Ramos go. You know, I knew that if I would have stayed in the back, it was going to be tough, you know, to get him out in third. So I decided nobody out right there to get the guy running from third. And then obviously that killed the rally right there. It was better than having that guy in third. And that was it pretty much, you know. Just a heads-up play.
Second start, and was the game 1 pitcher for the Phillies.
Well, these guys, when they go plate umpire with these 2 great pitchers, he's going to make it awfully difficult because they normally hit their spots. And we'll see what kind of game Gary is behind the plate.
And there's a drive hit to right center field. Victorino chases it, and it's over his head and off the wall. For Call, rounding second and heading for third as the ball gets loose in the outfield and a lot closer than expected with the ball getting loose. And Rafael Furcal with a leadoff triple to start the game.
It doesn't matter if a Cy Young's on the mound. If you get behind these hitters, 2-1 count, they are going to tee off. Little fastball up in the strike zone by Halladay over the head of Gold Glover Victorino in center field. And by the time he picks it up, he misses the cutoff man. It bounces on nothing. So by the time Rollins gets it, a slide and a triple.
And Skip Schumacher, who is 5 for 8, hitting .625 in this series, looks at
somewhere, get the run in, get your team ahead. Don't rely on anybody else to do the job. Because what Doc
just getting a piece of it is Schumacher. Interesting. Early. The division. Just missed outside. And a good at-bat for Skip Schumacher here.
Already the Cardinals have worked the count with nothing.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. The 10th pitch of the at-bat, and a line drive down the right field line, and it is a fair ball into the corner. Furcal will score, and Schumacher will go into second with a double. So a pair of extra base hits, and the Cardinals 1-0 lead.
Well, what you have here is the hitter fouls off every great pitch that Halladay threw, and the one bad pitch that he could hit, he took advantage of it, a hanging curveball over the middle of the plate. These are the kind of things early on. I talked about getting into the flow. Well, now Doc's going to have to be pressed into that flow of being perfect for most of the rest of this inning and the game.
And here's out.
Big guys that use their front leg and really get through their pitches. Three-quarter arm delivery with a lot of different stuff they can throw at you.
Carpenter 11-9 and pitched more innings than anyone in the National League with 237. 0-2. And Rollins hits it in the air to right center field. Schumacher calling for it and makes the catch. And hit, and then you turn on the lights in postseason, and he comes alive. And Utley, strikeout victim here, and there are 2 down on the first fastball. The 2-1 pitch, and grounded to Furcal. And Chris Carpenter, a lot better in this outing than he had in the first inning in his first appearance. 1-2-3 inning. Phillies are in
The Phillies pregame warm-up. And that again is Roy Oswalt having problems with the squirrel. Now during that stretch run in September, the Cardinals had a rallying cry. Win one for Torty. That was Alan Craig's pet tortoise. Torty. Now La Russa says Torty and Scardy are in a suite up here watching the game. And Dick, that's the story in a nutshell.
in the second. It's sharply, but right at Nick Punto. And Howard is retired now. Popped up. Pujols backing up. And Punto makes the catch in foul territory. As a Polanco with a ground ball to Furcal, and that'll do it. A 1-out double by Victorino, and he is stranded at second. And we have a defensive replacement for the Cardinals here in the third inning. John Jay has gone into play center field. Skip Schumacher has left the game. In game number 4, he had a problem with a hamstring on a swing. Not sure whether that's the problem, but Schumacher is out of the game. This after driving in the Cardinal run with a double.
What a shame. He had a couple of real solid at-bats.
Breaking in the air to right center field. And Lance Berkman makes the catch. Ruiz now 1.
He'll have to pay for that when he goes back to.
You mentioned the 6'6", 230.
And Halladay strikes out. Been on base 10 times. Chop. Fair ball. Pujols flips to Carpenter. And a 1-2-3 inning. We have completed 3
seconds ago when he fouled the ball down the first base line. Jimmy sees it at foul. Now the call is, of course, Chad Fairchild, the first base umpire. Once it passes the bag, he has the call. Before the bag, home plate umpire Cederstrom has the call. But I'm with Jimmy. I thought that ball, as it came off the bat, I thought it was foul, and he is feeling incredulous.
What's the right hand? That's not the problem he's had as he fouls this off the foot.
I think he got this off the shin. Let's take another look. Yeah, right off the inside knee and shin. That is so painful.
32 pitches in the first inning. And a ground ball hit up the middle and a base hit for Yadier Molina. There goes Molina. And the pitch taken for a ball. And Molina is into second base. And the count 1-2 to Freed. Where Schumacher tried to go to third base on a ground ball, and Utley threw him out of third. Cardinals left 2 on base in that inning. And Freed strikes out for the second time in the game. And 4 strikeouts for Halladay. The Cardinals get a hit, but in the middle of the 4th inning.
He's got that curveball going early just to give him something else. But, you know, he's got his movement, and he can be tough to score on too, but we need to add something to make a mistake and not get penalized.
What about Schumacher? What was the problem there?
Pulled an oblique, which is, you know, probably had the best 2 at-bats on our ball club against him, but thought an oblique, I think it was his left side, so we had to remove him.
Howard 0 for his last 12. And there's a drive caught by Punto to throw to first. Not in time for the double play. So Nick Punto making...
Nick Punto's in the lineup. He made a nice play on that ground ball. And this, a jam shot from Howard. The tough part about this for a second baseman is the timing of the leap. You see that done early, too early sometimes. But Punto with a nice play, makes it look easy, and the underhand toss trying to complete the double play.
Pence gets back. Ground ball, base hit to right field by Victorino. Hunter Pence will go to third, and the Phillies have runners at first and third and 2. This is the first 3-ball count for Chris Carpenter. Runner over at first, and a fly ball hit to right field. Lance Berkman on the warning track, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Close for Raul Ibanez as the Phillies lead 2. We go to the 5th inning with the Cardinals still up 1-0. And a line drive to the opposite field, base hit for Nick Punto, starting off the 5th inning.
And both these guys delivering so far.
1-2, slowly hit for Call. Polanco's retired, 1-0.
Hey, Dick, time for a game break presented by Bank of America. Earlier tonight here on TBS, the Brewers dramatically won their way to the NLCS. Niger Morgan with a walk-off single to bring in Carlos Gomez. 3-2 over the Diamondbacks. The Brewers back in the LCS level of the playoffs for the first time since 1982.
For the National League Championship Series as Ruiz chops it for Call and makes the play for out number 2. And of course we throw out leadoff hitter Jimmy Rollins would be next. And there's a chopper to third base. Freeze backhands it, and 3 ground balls, 3 outs as Carpenter retires the side in order. 2-1 pitch, ground ball left side for Call. And Rollins is retired. He's 0 for 3, but Phillies with only 2 runs. There goes the runner, Utley going. There's the throw to second. They get him. Chris Guccione, the second base umpire, and you just said it, Ron Darling. Yadier Molina, and after a good jump by Utley.
I want you to watch how he sets up. He looks at the runner and he knows he's going. He comes out and fires a strike to second. I didn't think there was any chance with this jump on a curveball that he had him, but unreal throw.
Yadier Molina,
home run.
And that'll go to Punto, and that'll do it. So a 1-out single, and then thrown out stealing was Chase Utley. And after 6 innings, the Cardinals leading the first pitch. This was the tag.
Well, the great thing about Punto, he's put in for defensive purposes, slaps that tag right on the calf of Utley before he's
taking a while to get in the groove. 6 of the 8 base runners win the first 2 innings. There's a drive hit deep to center field. Victorino back and makes catch on the warning track right in front of the 409-foot sign. Matt Holliday.
You need that 4th guy.
And a base hit to left field for David Freese. Ibanez coming over, the big turn at first. A 2-out single by Freese, and that's
steady diet of breaking balls. Finally one a little up in the strike zone. Not an awful breaking pitch, but good swing by Freese. Gets that ball to down the line. He had an idea of going for 2, but nice hustle by Ibanez.
I think what they're going to talk about right here is obviously the pitchers on deck. You have an opportunity in another pitch to see what Carp's going to do, or swing 3-0. More than likely a fastball right here.
And gets the green light, and a line drive to Berkman in right field. And out number 1, and Carpenter gets Howard after falling behind 3-0.
That's the first smile we've seen from Carpenter so far. Look at how judicious he's been with his pitches so far. 79. Halladay, 105 after 7 innings.
3-2 pitch. And it's chopped to Pujols, who steps on the bag. Good pitch by Carpenter in on the fist as he gets Victorino by the pitcher's duel set up tonight with Carpenter and Halladay.
Now, the only difference was about 30-some pitches in the first inning, and Doc has been just equally to the task as is Carpenter. And I tell you what, you just, in a game like this, you keep grinding away, getting outs and outs and outs. Any run from this point on, so important here in the last couple of innings.
One hopper to Nick Punto, and a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Carpenter. Phillies retired in the 7th. Cardinals batting and you said that was going to ruin their chances. And there is Carpenter getting a base hit through the middle and past his buddy Roy Halladay. We've been talking about Halladay and
teammates with the Toronto Blue Jays, but there's also more to the story. They both had their problems. Carpenter had injuries when he was there. Halladay had lack of confidence, got sent to the minors. He said David Wells games every year.
There's for call with the bunt. Ruiz going to second, and it's safe at second base as Jimmy Rollins sees the ball. 2-0 bunt, perfect down the third base line, and Polanco getting it over to Utley for the force in the sack reliever,
because you have one of the best pitchers in baseball.
and Berkman, who hit a home run against him in the first game of the series and won it. And Berkman goes down. Big out number 2 for Roy Halladay. Drive hit to left field. Ibanez coming on over and makes the catch to retire the side. And Ron Darling, your observation right on the money. This crowd pumped up as you dispose of these Phillies hitters. And the Phillies trying to capitalize on getting out of the last inning. But here's for call, and he throws out Polanco for the 3rd time, and they're ground ball and smothered by Furcal, recovers and throws him out. Rafael Furcal, acquired from the Dodgers, paying dividends at shortstop since his acquisition.
All of these special performances seem to always take a little magic with the leather, and that's the magic there by Furcal.
14 ground ball outs, none bigger than this one right here. 2 outs in the 8th. He gets up, knows the runner, and has a strong arm. Nice follow through.
So the veteran Rafael. And Claude. Strike 3, and Molina safe at first base. Yadier Molina had trouble finding the ball, and he fired widely.
Well, what happened to Molina is that he smothered this ball in the dirt, but he could not find it. Finally, he flips his mask off, rushes just enough to throw that ball wide to Albert Pujols. Can't find it down that first base line. But see how he kicks it into fair territory? But by the time he throws it, a little cut on that baseball and wide.
What this does is guarantees, unless there's a pickoff or
Yes, it's Martinez. And there's a shot off the glove of Carpenter. Thrown to first base, and in time, Punto and Furcal both making sparkling plays here in the 8th inning in back of Chris Carpenter. And it remains 1-0 as the Cardinals come to bat in the ninth. I'd save opportunities in the regular year. 2-1 pitch, and can't find him. Brian Madsen can't find it, but a great recovery by Carlos Ruiz to throw out. Madsen strikes out 2, and now the Phillies, with all their 6, have 1 more at bat. Catch game highlights, MLB. 1-0, and the Phillies coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning, needing a run in the 5th and deciding game against the wild card Cardinals. To reach leading off an inning when he was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. First pitch, drive hit to center field. John Jay is back and makes the catch on the base of the wall for out number 1.
Ugly first pitch fastball by Carpenter, trying to sneak one past him. Little sinker down in the zone. The only reason that ball stayed in the ballpark, a bullet to center field. Nice play by John Jay.
So Utley exhibits. Ground ball to Descalso at third. 2 gone in the bottom of the 9th inning. And fittingly, the Phillies, who are down to their last out, will have Ryan Howard coming up, who is 0 for his last 14, facing Chris Carpenter with the season on the line.
Well, I tell you, competition can bring about strange bedfellows. A sweep of the Phillies, of the Atlanta Braves, the last 3 games of the season ensured the Cardinals would make it as the wild card and face the Phillies.
Cardinals won 23 of their last 32 games, were 10.5 behind the Braves on the 25th of August. And the first pitch to Howard, ball will swing out of the zone. One and one now to Howard. 6,530 on their feet. Fouled at the plate, and now the Phillies down to their last strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ryan.
Will try to bounce it down by the foot of Howard and get the strikeout to end the game.
2-2.
Look for him to make the adjustment right here.
Ground ball to the right side. Punto has it. And running over, and the Cardinals have done it. The St. Louis Cardinals, improbable in making the playoffs, and Ryan Howard is down. He is hurt halfway between home and first base. So Howard is hurt, and the Cardinals are out around first base. Chris Carpenter with a brilliant pitching performance, but a concern for Ryan Howard here.
As soon as it came out of the box, I don't know whether he turned his ankle or if it's an Achilles problem, but no chance he could make it down to first base as the Cardinals celebrated.
A discouraging finish to the Phillies season. They put this team together to go to the World Series. Howard is hurt, but what about the St. Louis Cardinals? A never-say-die team, John Smoltz, who were seemingly out of the wild card. They were 8.5 back in September to the Braves.
Final out. You never know what's going to happen. You look at the highlight right here, and this is what this manager was trying to put his team in position for. Game 5, Carpenter on his back. A memorable game for the St. Louis Cardinals and a memorable moment for Chris Carpenter.
And for the first time since 2006, the Cardinals find themselves in the National League Championship Series. Chris Carpenter, on full rest, comes back and pitches a 3-hit shutout to beat the Phillies on the road in a huge matchup with 2 pitching greats. But the Cardinals prevail 2-0.
Disappointment, Philadelphia Phillies. Sheer joy for the Cardinals. Chris Carpenter. Happy flight, indeed.
Yes, on their way to Milwaukee for the National League Championship Series, and a real odd scene here in Philadelphia where the visiting Cardinals are celebrating. The crowd is stunned, and their star Ryan Howard injured getting out of the batter's box and down between first and home plate.
Chris, you won a Cy Young. You won a World Series. But in this deciding game for both teams, have you ever pitched a better game?
I don't know. It was
some kind of fun. You know, we get out there and was able to get that one run early off Doc. He was dominant the rest of the game. I got out of a couple jams with some great defensive plays, but what an awesome night. I mean, unbelievable.
It was 1-0 in the 5th inning, and John Smoltz said that one run may hold up. Did you think it would?
I was just doing the best I could, keep getting head and counts, and let my guys catch the ball behind me. These guys were aggressive tonight, but I was able to keep the ball down. Like I said, some guys made some great plays behind me, and the rest is what you saw.
It was a great pitching performance, great defensive performance. But what was the biggest pitch you threw tonight?
The last one right there to get the out. No question about it.
You went against your good friend, Roy Halladay. Everybody talked about this matchup. Your manager was hoping for it after you. But what was it like for you?
It was another game, you know. Obviously with all the hype leading up to it, he's a great friend of mine. Like I said, he did a great job tonight also. He battled and dominated pretty much the whole game except for that first inning where we snuck one in on him. But it was a lot of fun.
After all this team has been through, down 10.5 games to the Braves in the wild card back in August 26th, did you find comfort in the fact that you've been in so many tough situations down the stretch in tonight's game?
I think guys were just relaxed and having fun. We put ourselves in a position where everybody was expecting us to have no chance. And we just started playing like the team we knew we were. And we were fortunate to get some help back into it with Atlanta losing. And we've been playing well the rest of that month.
You mentioned all those great defensive plays. One of them was by you when you kicked the ball in that 8th inning. Use your leg all right?
I hit it with my glove. And then Nick made an unbelievable play coming in on it. Fuki made some great plays. Guys running balls down the outfield was great all night.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Both Carpenter and Halladay did. They were just outstanding. Just touched in that first inning. But, Carpenter did what he had to do, John. The pitch with just 1-run lead.
Team got great guts, great heart.
You're a great animal lover. Are we going to see the rally squirrel in the next round?
Well, as long as that Miss Squirrely keeps dating Craig's Mr. Torty, I just think we should get a sweep because we don't want him to interrupt the game. The problem is that Craig hadn't been playing. I think the squirrel was looking around for Torty because Torty was looking around for Craig. I don't know. That's nonsense.
It's all nuts. Thanks a lot. Congratulations. Back up to you, Dick.
All right. You can have nonsense spoken when you have won a series like this. 1-0, and let's take a look at the decisive 1-0 games. Cardinals won, the Phillies 0, and the Cardinals have won this NLDS series 3-2. So, for Ron Darling and John Smoltz and Craig Sager, Dick Stockton saying so long from Philadelphia, and we'll send Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly right after this. TBS is your exclusive home for the entire 2011 National League Championship Series.
You played with both these guys. Let's start with Chris Carpenter. Have you ever seen him this good? Why was he so effective for so long in this?
Well, I've seen Carp pitch a lot of good games, but this one I think stands out more than any of them. I mean, the way he had his composure out, he got a run, settled down, treated it as a 0-0 game, and just went out there and pitched. He had his curveball working, elevation, but most of all, he stayed down in the zone and he helps himself out right there by tipping it off his glove. Who knows where that ball could have went right there? And that could have been a big key in the game. But this guy is he is a gamer. I mean, but him and Halladay, coming up through the minor leagues in Toronto, now going against one another. I mean, nothing but respect for one another as well. But this guy, he had a little bit better stuff tonight. No disrespect to Roy, but I tell you what, Carp, man, is very deserving. The way his season started and that way he's finishing it. He's not done yet, but he's got
great competitor. First of all, we saw in Game 1.
He says money pitchers. This is what baseball's all about. You're talking about two guys that get it and throw it. I loved it. I mean, I absolutely. How can you not love it like that? And what everybody expected this, and they gave you what you wanted. And I'll tell you what, there's so much emotion the way the Carpenter pitched. At one point, smile, which he never does.
Never.
Right?
right?
Never.
And you saw him acting like an animal when there's a key play, whether it bounced off him or a good defensive play. Everything was highlighted in a 1-0 game, and they are psyched. This is a special team, this St. Louis team. Coming from 10 games down, I don't know how long they're going to make it, but I'll tell you what, they are on a mission right now.
That smile came from a 3-0 pitch. A lot of people think he shouldn't have swung, but in a game like this.
Championship Series Game 1 is Sunday afternoon at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Let's go back to the Citizens Bank Ballpark now in Philadelphia and talk to Tim Kirchin, who watched this game. Tim, the pitching matchup lived up to the hype. How would you characterize what we saw tonight, not only from Chris Carpenter, but from Roy Halladay as well?
Well, that was one of the greatest pitching matchups I've ever seen, and you have to look at the final score. When you have a 1-0 game and one of the guys goes the route and the other guy was as good as Halladay was, it brings you back to 1991 when just outdueled John Smoltz and relievers in Game 7 of the World Series that year. Chris Carpenter was unbelievably good here given all of the circumstances. And I'll leave you on him with just 2 scenes. 2 hours before the game, our guys went in there to talk to some of the Cardinals, and Chris Carpenter was fast asleep right in the middle of the clubhouse. And then after the game, the celebration has not yet begun in the Cardinals clubhouse because they're waiting for Chris Carpenter to come in from the interviews. They would not start celebrating until he walked in. Then out came the bubbly, and everyone went nuts because the big boy had just walked in.
Tim, does this team remind you of the 2006 Cardinals? They seem to have the same type of mojo working here.
It does, Bert, and in many ways this is an extremely loose team, and this is not just a loose team that, hey, we shouldn't even be here, that type of thing. There's something special about this team. Maybe it's the presence of Lance Berkman, who's such a free-spirited, fun-loving kind of guy and a really good player. Maybe it's the fact that they came from 10.5 games back and they've got unbelievable momentum. Maybe it's because they've lost so many difficult games this year, 11 losses in which they led in the 9th inning or later, and yet they persevered every time. I think you look at this team and they say, nobody can beat us with what we've been through, and after beating the Phillies, I think that feeling is even stronger.
Brewers, if they can hang on here, will now have home field because Gomez was flying. Cardinals win it 1-0 in Philadelphia. The Brewers win at home 3-2. So here is your National League Championship Series. Game 1 is a 4:05 Eastern start Sunday at Miller Park in Milwaukee. These two both in the National League Central, and they split the season series mark 9-9. Who has the edge?
Right now, I think it's about even. These teams do not like each other. They don't get along, and it's because they're both good. They're both talented.
Interpreter Dan Plezak, it was brilliant to watch you work tonight. I have 2 questions for you. The first one, you run the count to 3 balls, no strikes to Ryan Howard in the 7th inning. Fastball up that you get the fly ball to right field. What was going through your mind on the 3-0 pitch?
I know he's swinging, and you know as well as I do as a pitcher, when you can get that 3-0 out to a big bopper like Ryan Howard, because they're swinging and you make a pretty good pitch that jams them a little bit, that's what you're talking about. And it worked out well for me. I was able to get that out, which is, I think, a real key in the game, no question about it.
Okay, second question.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now, these guys are unbelievable. It's been a pleasure to be a part of this club. Just an unbelievable group of guys that are so much fun to be around, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Hey.